Want to have me time, your own time, take it. Rather faking it and going and spoiling everybody's mood out there and yourself also getting upset, automatically. I wouldn't suggest any sort of training or something like that. In every situation, be a learner. Trust me, the corporate world now is like, it doesn't matter how smart you are unless I can trust you.
In the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield by Warren Buffett. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this insightful session by Pinnacle Pathways, where we delve deep into the evolving corporate landscape and explore the essential skills required to navigate it successfully. At Pinnacle Pathways, we are a youth led initiative committed to equipping young individuals with the grit, determination, and skill sets essential for thriving in a corporate environment. Through in depth analysis, engaging sessions with industry experts, and a strong focus on leadership, communication, and analytical thinking, we aim to build a well rounded corporate youth ready to excel in the professional world. Our platform fosters learning through insightful discussions, monthly newsletters featuring top business executives, and curated content on upskilling, internships, and professional development. Today, we have the privilege of hosting an extraordinary individual whose contributions to emotional intelligence and corporate well being are paving the way for a more conscious and emotionally aware workforce. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest, Ms. Nasreen Binth Ahmed Bava. Ms. Nasreen is a leading expert in emotional intelligence training, corporate well-being, and life skill development. She is the founder and managing director of InfoSkills, an organization dedicated to enhancing emotional intelligence and skill-based learning among individuals and corporate professionals. One of her most groundbreaking contributions is EMOVENTOR, a semi automated emotion ventilator tool that supports children's mental health. Recognized by the All India Council for Robotics and Automation and backed by India's Ministry of Education and Skill Development, this tool is redefining emotional support mechanisms in educational settings. Her commitment to emotional intelligence training has earned her international accolades, including the Best Emotional Intelligence Trainer Award at the iconic Cosmopolitan Business Awards 2024. Additionally, her work with corporate professionals has helped businesses integrate mental well being strategies into the workplace culture, improving productivity and emotional resilience. We are truly honored to have her here today to share her valuable insights. Welcome, Ms. Nasreen.
Thank you.
Ma'am, your journey into emotional intelligence training and corporate well being is truly inspiring. Can you share with us what initially sparked your passion and what motivated you to make it your profession?
Well, I believe love is equal to something called selflessness. And when it is from your parent, no other words. So, this vision for me to embark this journey of emotional intelligence, this is truly identified when I was a child, right from my father, who's my inspiration, who's my role model. He envisioned always something big for me. So that positivity in my childhood always taught me that I am something extraordinary. In what way? In the way of giving and helping people. And that's where he brought so much of high level of EQ to me. And my IQ is also a God gift, I believe, so that I excelled in my academics along with values which he taught me. That's where the spark of getting the room energetic as well as more compassionate came into me right from my school days. Wherever I used to go, I used to make sure I upskill them. Along with that, I make them feel valued. I make them to value others. I think it's from my school days.
Yes, ma'am, it's truly a gift because it's very difficult to make someone feel comfortable, to make someone happy, and being able to do that is a great boon from the Almighty. Many people define emotional intelligence in different ways. So, what does emotional intelligence mean for you, and how do you think it has become so essential in the corporate landscape?
Well, if I have to tell you, the right answer for this is simply observe the previous generation, your grannies, your grandfathers, how humble and ground rooted they are. We have termed it as emotional intelligence now, but a human being is distinct from other beings or and characters is just because they are sensible to others' emotions. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, it's nothing but valuing others' emotion and controlling your emotion, being self regulated, being self motivated, being empathetic towards others, and most of all, to know how to you converse with the other person to build that social skill. Now, how does this all these things start? These things do start with self-awareness. So these are five components of emotional skills, emotional intelligence, which I just told you this way. Easily you can find it in highly matured people, what we call, especially olden people, how they speak, how they stay ground rooted. So that is emotional intelligence. Without going much deeper into scientific terms of it, I want to tell you, youth, that nothing but being sensible is being emotionally intelligent.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, can you share a particular moment in your career where your emotional intelligence training significantly impacted someone's life or their career trajectory?
Oh, if I could tell you, there are countless numbers wherever in the sessions I go, because training, learning, and development is a field where people, go for trainings not only for the sake of upskilling. They always accept something, exceptional things to happen, right? They
Yes,
feel
ma'am.
that we're going there and will come up not even only with skills but with values. So that makes us to prepare a lot and go.
Yes,
But what I do always, not to go by theoretically, I go to the room, I level my down myself so much so down that I simply balance my emotion, my skill, my energy to the audience level at first, and then take them slowly to the learning outcome what they would expect. So I do my pre-study before
yes, ma'am.
going to a proper TMA, we call training need analysis, and I do the emotional intelligence profiling also, so that I know these expect this sort of learning outcome. That is where I can tailor make, customize on the spot spontaneously to bring out that in them. If you have to ask me what happened, if you tell me the extraordinary thing what happened, just recently in one of my trainings, I happened to finish the training for leaders, and the next month is scheduled for the category two employees. I mean
Yes,
the executives. So it so happened that I, out of my curiosity, asked, "Do you want any changes?" Because I totally believe in engagement, the interactive training, not
yes,
simply
ma'am.
the theoretical or the PPTs or the PDFs. So it so happened the two of them just told me that they were just conversing with the HR manager, and they got to know the next month is the category one training for the executives, and they literally fought with the HR manager. They told, "No, we just thought it's going to be another training of leadership traits with all the PPTs and all the worksheets, but she took us to different emotional levels." So the extraordinary thing what happens during my training
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that their EQ raises, and
Mm.
that's my aim.
Yes, ma'am.
The empathy, the social skill, most of all, the self awareness. I They tell that I found myself today. This is one common thing I get. I try to find their blind spot for them, because what they do not know, what people might know, or what even people might not know, I show them that picture through such psychology based realization activities. I'm sorry it was long, but I could
Ah,
not take one example. If I would
yes,
take, it will go one by one, and it goes on, because every training out there is a success for me only when people come out emotionally to
yes, ma'am.
me.
And I think that's a great part of your training that you
Yes,
customize it to them,
yes,
because often it's quite easy for you to go beyond their ability to understand. And it takes a lot of research on your part and a lot of background work to come down to their level to understand what they will realize and make them emotionally more qualified. So that's great.
yes.
Um, and one of the biggest challenges in the corporate environment is emotional resilience.
Hmm.
So, how do you think emotional intelligence can help professionals manage their workplace stress and all of the things that come with a well qualified workplace job, and also prevent their burnout?
Trust me, the corporate world now is like, it doesn't matter how smart you are unless I can trust you.
Yes,
The AI has overtaken everything. We don't need much smarter and smarter people. With average IQ, with the help of AI, you can lead anything now. But why will I retain you? I will only retain you if you have got high level of EQ. Now, emotional resilience. If you have a group of people with only high IQ and average EQ, imagine the room being everybody pondering, everybody's fighting for the positions and
Yes, wow.
materialistic things. It's the emotional resilience and being for the each other in a team which makes your team stronger, long lasting, and you can retain your employees. Conflict resolution is a thing. This effective decision making is a thing. Team building is a thing. Team dynamics is a thing. Everything gets bound only with matching the EQ levels.
Yes,
If
wow.
your EQ doesn't match, if it is really very imbalanced, you've got a real big problem in your team. You must first identify that. So, emotional intelligence trainings do happen in a very, very divergent way, not like skill building, not like presentation skills or something like that. It is an executive counseling, an indirect way, right, in the corporate world.
Yes,
So, when you counsel, when you program them, the subconscious get programmed every training. You talk good, good, good.
yes,
You talk about good energy, you pass it. End of the contract, I see all my team members out there are truly bonded each other, as well as they take me as their team member. They no more feel I'm an outsourced
yes,
trainer.
wow.
Such is the level they portray. So emotional resilience can really be not taught, can really be programmed with the help of emotional intelligence training. I'm not talking about again about skill training.
Yes,
EQ training must be done. People need to identify their strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. People need to be empathetic and know that what is the empathetic level. People need to be learning the skill of self regulation. Anger is a good emotion,
yes,
but out of anger, you can't destroy somebody. If you have to give as a manager, give a constructive criticism. Otherwise, your destructive criticism is going to ruin a soul whole altogether. And if you're an employee, if somebody is giving you a constructive criticism, take it. It is for your good. You will grow like that, not
yes,
only with positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcements are a part of your life and your career, which will take you higher than the inspiration. If you give me two things, inspiration or humiliation, definitely humiliation will serve as a challenge, but not in a destructive way. There is a limit for everything. That's why self-regulation comes to our emotion, when it comes to other emotions. We need to balance between these things. We need to learn how to regulate that.
The inspiration humiliation thing was quite interesting because
Yes.
often we tend to take humiliation in a negative way,
Yep.
but like it said, often your failures teach you more than your success. So it's very important for you to fail in life at some stage for you to actually understand the value of success. Another thing I would like to highlight was that I personally believe that the ability to form a bond with your team is not only limited to the corporate sphere. We as youth as well, it's very important for us within our teams to
True.
develop that bond. It's
Very true.
quite common or quite easy for us to let our IQ get ahead of cells, and there's sort of a rift between the team for who does more work or who is more productive. But in that, it's very important, as you stated, for us to continue that bond amongst ourselves, to have that feeling of togetherness, and that really helps us to be more productive in the team as a whole. Thank
Yes.
you. There are many myths surrounding emotional intelligence. Some believe it's just about being nice or suppressing your emotions, like we touched upon, that humiliation or giving negative criticism can often be taken in a very discouraging manner. So, what are some myths that you believe are very essential to being debunked for people to actually understand what emotional intelligence is as a whole?
Trust me, you've put me a very good question that what is the myth surrounding EQ? People have always thought that being nice is about being emotionally intelligent. Not really. Assertiveness is a thing. Assertiveness skill is not that easy. Learning to say no is an art. It doesn't come. So when you enter in the corporate world, you don't start in the managerial position. Especially youth, you might start whatever qualifications, you might start an executive level, admin level, whatever it is. So at that time, how you have to lead your team, although you may not be in that position, yet you
Yes.
are going to lead the team. And how is you're going to be highly EQ person managing everything? Is it that you're going to just take all the negative outs there? No. It's not about that. So I'm not telling being nice, being polite is you got high EQ. You've only got high EQ if you're able to I'm telling you the fourth component, self-regulation, right? When it is too negative, you know to regulate the other
Yes, ma'am.
person. When it is too positive, also you know to identify why is it too positive. What is like? Is it the real one? Is it the fake one? How you have to say no, when you have to say no, being assertive. So we take it, and a highly EQ person is the one who is always submissive, not at all. That's why I'll tell you a lead by example. You have leaders who are successful. They don't have to be ground rooted.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
don't have to be humble, yet they are, and that is where their EQ lies. So when you if you to really see what is an EQ, where do you see EQ? You see EQ in successful people, the leaders whom we call.
Yes, ma'am.
They'll not have arrogancy, but they do will have leadership attitude. There's a difference between that.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? So
Yes.
it's not about when somebody is arrogant, yes, it is not a good quality. But when somebody's too submissive, being a leader, he's letting him taken for granted. So he is not leading himself, neither he's setting a role model for others. So it is about the very big myth about EQ is they are very humble, they're very ground rooted. No, they're very assertive.
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
find a person too polite, not able to lead, then it is not a good quality of EQ. That is a
Yes,
different
ma'am.
level. Yeah.
I like to add that often arrogance is misunderstood with self respect or assertiveness. So people tend to portray your ability to respect yourself, respect your work, and have a value for yourself as your arrogance. Like you stated, people at that particular level, we can't really term that as arrogance. They respect their time, they value their effort because they've reached that position. And that is a very good quality that we might imbibe from them, that you need to respect yourself and respect for your time, for your efforts. It's not really arrogance, it's your ability to be emotionally aware of yourself. As you stated, one of the main pillars was self-awareness, so that
Yes.
again boosts your emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Ma'am, you've trained individuals from various backgrounds, so how do you blend psychological research with the hands-on training methods to create a transformative learning experience for everyone?
Trust me, it's with each industry, it's a total different, experience because they come from diverse background. I train people from real estate background, healthcare background, contracting companies, teaching CPDs for teachers. Everybody on site, they have got their own prejudices, their own expectations, their own team dynamics. Suppose if I talk about real estate, see, even a person, even an agent who does high sales does get demotivated. When immediately after he gets done with one deal, he's like, I'm done because the 6 months of going behind the client, I'm done with it. So he's totally although he's shown as the high role model for other
Position.
team. He'd close the deal of such a big deal. He cannot be because his motivation, self motivation, what we call, has gone so much so down. That is where the part EQ training comes into picture. Continuous learning is something, being continuous on your journey, striving for it. Success, we call it success, but you know what, success is just one phase. Sustainable success is what we need to long for. So EQ training keeps you self-sustained to search for continuous success. Your question was again, how do I blend with all these people? See, I would compare myself to water. You pour me, I take that shape because I deal with psychology. Finally, every person, for a doctor, a patient is a patient. He doesn't look at him as a thief or a police. It's a patient. So for me, a person, an individual, a worker, an employee, a leader is a whole subject for me to study. I simply do not get subjective that he's from this background or something. I see holistic perspective of it. He's working 9 to 5, or he's a boss, he's working for as a whole thing. So these are the things he experiences every day as a worker. Even if he's the boss, he's striving for something. So what happened, be it different industries, the training, the initial trainings become very generic.
Mm, yes,
I
ma'am.
need to tell them about values, the connect, bind their values with the company's core values, teach about the basic things. So that is where everybody usually have these interactive activities, and trust me, it is the same result I get in all the industries where I go to, be it governmental, non governmental, SMEs, startups, corporates, individual counseling. For the set of activities, what I have, initial activities, is the same result what I get. So that is something that's where I know everybody comes from the same root. And we
So,
try to pretend to be in some sort of roles. The end of the day, all of us are looking for that perfection which doesn't exist. So
yes,
we
ma'am.
need to calm down. It's fine, I'm doing my
Yes,
best.
ma'am. As often the basic things that require the most amount of work to be done, and the fact that you're able to get this much efficiency and your impact is the same across various fields is greatly commendable, because over here we can sit and say that it's generic things, but the amount of background research and the amount of groundwork that goes in requires a lot of your time and your effort, which
Very
is
much.
great on your part for making them or coming down to their level and customizing it.
Yes.
Technology is reshaping the learning and the training sphere like never before. So, how has technology influenced your approach to the entire training mechanism?
Very much. I'm a person who believes in lifelong learning, upgrading, and upskilling. So I will never be out of that category who says go to or stick on to the classical way and no, this training only can. No. There are n number of opportunities for you. Content is like anything, it's available like anything. Everybody has got a unique style. Through digital presence, people are trying to. Now, technology, as in, I have already transformed my brainchild EMOVENTOR, which was a prototype physical EMOVENTOR, and I've already converted it into an app. I want it to be a pod, where automated avatars come and talk to you because the generation needs it,
Yes,
right? You have to adapt to it. And we as leaders, we as who have this thought process that we have to change things, we have to change with the time. So definitely technology is a boon. It depends how you use it. It
yes,
can be
ma'am.
a curse. I'm not denying that. It can be, we say it in Urdu, it could be a baraka or fitna. Baraka means a blessing, fitna means a curse kind of thing. So everything has got a limit. So for what you use it,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
comes. So it's
Completely
like
depends.
technology is just a tool. How do you use it? For what purpose do you use it? That matters. When it comes to EQ training, when it comes to L&D, technology has really made it very, very easy for us trainers, facilitators to learn more about it and use such visual aids,
Yes, ma'am.
such tools to utilize in the training, for that though they become very engaging, that the training becomes very engaging and people enjoy it. So I have already transformed my EMOVentor into technology, and it's on the way. I'm just waiting how that avatar comes out and how VR experiences give it a different touch to the students. Counseling that way, no, there are a lot of myth. It's what abnormal people know. I do take my sessions. I do went out. I'm a counselor. People went out with me, and a lot of negative energy goes in, and I need to vent it out. So there is a myth. So it's for everybody. So I made Emo Venter in such a way that it is now getting upgraded to the
Yes, ma'am.
newest technologies, and students would go, and how they everything is gamified. This also is gamified. They would enjoy. So I'm totally for technology. Use it wisely.
I believe that the emo venture aspect that you mentioned, the avatar, would really be beneficial for us youth, because we live in a generation where it's quite difficult for us to find genuine people or a place to vent out our emotions. Often, all we don't need advice, we don't need someone to give us something that we don't have. We just need an ear to listen to us, to
True.
just say that it's okay, we're there for you. So, we have our parents, but I believe that the avatar or the emo venture app could really help those individuals get a place to vent out their emotions and express themselves, because sometimes keeping it inside of you harms you more than just getting it out once and just expressing yourself.
Yes.
Ma'am, for those looking to enhance their emotional intelligence outside of a formal training or a formal landscape, what are some daily habits or exercises that you would recommend to them?
Be yourself. If I have to tell you it in a phrase, if you have to raise your emotional intelligence, you have to be yourself. Don't fake it. Emotions do need to be expressed. You're sad, be sad. Although people around you will try to console you. That's good. That's a good feeling when you have that. If you want to have me time, your own time, take it. Rather faking it and going and spoiling everybody's mood out there and yourself also getting upset. So the first. So first component of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Be aware of your threat. Something is holding you back. Be aware of your weakness. Now try and convert it into your strength and opportunity. When you're confronted with an emotion, be it negative or positive, if you're excited, please don't worry about what people would say. If you're excited for a reason, get out there and show everybody that you're happy. If you're sad, you need to vent out. If you find nobody, mirror is your best friend. Go to mirror, just put it out. Let the stress hormones flow through your tears. You'll feel so relaxed. Your IQ gets balanced with EQ then. Understood?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
apart from that, not only showing the emotions, you try to become an ear to somebody else. Trust me, if my EQs have gone higher, if I am humble, if I am ground rooted, if I am as a leader always grateful, that's because I'm a very, very good listener and a counselor. I hear a lot of stories out there. My mobile inbox is already every time filled with one or the other request. What do we do? How do we do? When I look into their problems, my problems seem very little to me. That is where I become more grateful and Almighty increases me more. So, you youth out there, you Gen Zs, trust me, you are the people who are stuck between the technology and the values. You're born in such period. You want to know, you want to go, you speak less, but that doesn't mean that you don't think less. If people
Yes,
think a
ma'am.
lot, you're going over that transformational generation. Alpha Gen is totally into a digital world. They know that that's their world. You are in a world that you're born into that, yet you have your parents as millennials and they are kind of value driven as well. So you get confused when you they do not overprotect you, they do not overpossess, yet you want to get hold on to the values and you want to go to the new world. So you have a dilemma always. Is it good to be open about your emotions, or is it better to be safeguard your emotions? I'm telling you, find a friend of yours who's always your friend, one best friend at least, and then always try to put your emotions out. That is going to help you a lot. Normal thing, be yourself. Go to washroom, lock, cry it out, or call your friend, tell everything. The next moment the negative energy is gone. The negative energy is gone. Day by day you are learning a skill of self regulation. You understood yourself. When is your mood going up, when is your mood going coming down? So empathy also is raising because you started listening to others, as well as now you're developing social skills. You know that your mood goes down and this is my defense mechanism. Either I'll cry, or I'll go and talk to my friend, or I'll just oppose it. You're angry, you'll oppose it, you oppose it. Don't overreact. And then if not, you will become just an ear to somebody else to suppress yours. Do these things, it helps. You don't need a counselor, you don't need EQ coach for that. Yourself, everybody out there is an EQ coach. There's no big psychologist than a mother, I say. So your mother can always be a friend as well, because she definitely, your mothers are from millennials, so definitely they have seen both the phases and they are well aware of it. That's
Um, being yourself is such a simple thing to do, and it seems quite easy on the
it.
surface.
Yes.
But it's, in my opinion, one of the most difficult things to do, because often you
You'll
get
fake it.
you carried away. Like, you're in a group, so you want to
Yes.
be
Don't do
accepted into
that.
that group, so you lose your individuality.
Yes.
Especially at our age, we have such great peer influence that even one wrong step, our entry into a wrong peer group, can negatively impact us, our emotional quotient, and force us to lose our individuality. So, as you mentioned, it's very important for us to express ourselves, be ourselves out there, and not change for anybody
True.
else. And ma'am, being an ear, I believe sometimes while listening to others, you are not only helping them, but you're helping yourself more than the other person,
True.
because you realize that there's so many things in life that you have to be grateful for, that you have, that the other person doesn't. So it makes your problems look less in front of them.
Yes.
And you also, while listening, get exposed certain perspectives or certain way to think about things that you've never thought about before.
True.
So that broadens your horizon, helps you to become more emotionally aware of yourselves, to enhance your emotional quotient. So that really helps as well.
Yes, no doubt.
Ma'am, your work with EMOVENTOR, we've talked about before as well, is
Yes.
particularly fascinating. So, what was the inspiration behind this innovation? And as you mentioned, bringing AI into this. So, what do you see as the future of EMOVENTOR, or where do you see it in, say, 10 years or 15 years?
Well, I would see there can be many more versions of EMOVENTOR, which we technology is changing such rapidly. You have every other day one or the other invention. So I took this up because I saw even the school counselors are not able to counsel school children. They're there only for special needs at time. Even the normal children who mostly have this sibling rivalry issue at times, and who have parents complaints, who've got complaints about parents itself, who have got complaints about their own groups, they're not able to be comfortable with the counselor because they are scared that they will be prejudiced later by everybody else out there. So how do I tackle this? Why are school counselors not able to cater to every student out there? Is there a solution for it? Of course, the counselor cannot. Even if you hire five people, they cannot give because they have got departmental works, they have got a structure to do. They cannot cater to everybody. If not in schools, where else? Parents would not take them to counselors. Again, that becomes a kind of a stigma,
Stigma.
right? But then, how do we tackle? That's where I understood. If you gamify it, both the parents will take it lightly, let him, as well as both the child will at least try it once for the sake of it. So I actually, my husband is an electrical engineer. I'm grateful to him for assisting me day and night because I'm good at incubating ideas. I'm good at thinking and with the I theoretically planning it, but practically I'm not a technology person. How is that possible with three compartments? Being from the psychology background, Albert Bandura's theory of positive reinforcement and the this one, the Bobodol experiment, which really made me, oh my God, if in that case anger can be punched out,
Yes.
right? So let the children, instead of having it with their siblings, with their classmates, go to a compartment, press the button, angry, the punch bag drops down. They wear the glove, it's gamified, but it was very physical form. The prototype was very much, not AI way. So they would punch it. Then they go to the second compartment. They press the button, I'm sad. Then the curtain raises and you have a letter pad as well as an USB cam itself, which they are not aware of. Students are not aware. That's for the counselor later to retrieve the data. What was the bodily movement when it comes to anger, when it comes to revealing? So the child pours out there. He screams, whatever you want, or you want to write it down. The letterbox simply pulls it. He can't take it back once he puts there. So then another compartment, it's called happy compartment. He presses button there. You know what? I used to get. I was very bad in drawing. I used to only get out of 25 half a mark. Because I was not good with drawing skills. But it so happened first mark 20 half a mark in out of 25. I moved to one and a half, then three, then nine. The positive reinforcement made me love drawing. So that's what I believed. It is not about you're competing with others, it's a self race. And if at that time you get positive reinforcement, somebody pats on your shoulder, it works wonders. Trust me. So what happened? I made a third counter. If you're happy, also you have to come and share. It's not about you're angry or you're sad, you'll come and share. Your happiness needs to be shared. Somebody has to accomplish that. So they press that button and they get a surprise box. And they have a medal in that. It could be anything. So the passes were given. So my pilot project, when I made, I implemented in the schools, and students came out telling they just enjoy going to the Inventor. Then came the technology and AI and all these things. Now it's in the form of pods, wherein they will go soundproof. Avatar comes, they can scream, and they'll talk to the counselor. It will, retaliate with the emotions as well. It will recognize their facial expressions, data is collected, then we analyze whether it is clinical, whether it's acquired, whether it's just simply went out. We can really make out the counselor's job becomes very less. That's when the data is then moved to proper guidance. I can cross check it also. It's going to be a revolutionary thing if it comes, I'm sure, because I'm designing it in such a way that pupil think it's gamified, it's just a game, and parents come, off the burden of getting their children always seeing worried, and taking them to counselors is a burden again for them. That's how about it.
Ma'am did mention the happiness compartment,
Yep.
and I feel that is a quite unique thing, and that's one of the most influential aspects for me as a
Yes.
youth. Because often I've seen that a lot of counselors and a lot of the online training focus on your ability to express your sadness or your anger, but it's not only the negative emotions that need help. Sometimes you just need to express your happiness in the correct manner. It's often said like sadness, if you spread it, it reduces it, but spreading happiness amplifies it to a very great extent. So celebrating that emotion is as important as celebrating the other emotions, and EMOVENTOR is helping children do that. That is really inspiring for them. And we talked about the stigma surrounding how parents or the counselors often tend to perceive the ability of an individual to be emotionally restrained or keep things inside of himself. But I've seen a lot of my peers, as well as in certain cases me myself, that it is difficult for an individual to recognize himself that he is in need of emotional help. So, what are certain things that you would like to advise us youth or within the corporate sector for individuals to initially recognize, take the first step that yes, I need emotional help, and then move on to the subsequent stages?
Okay, I'll go with this quote of Benjamin Franklin, which says, tell me, I forget. Teach me, I may remember. But involve me, I learn. So when it comes to the question, what you've asked me, trust me, it is not about learning it. It is about getting in. It's a part of life. It's getting involved in itself. So there is nothing, no hard and fast rule like this is this way, this is this way. Just lead your life. And you're going there, involving in somebody else's emotion. You're getting yourself involved into getting to know about yourself in whatever way possible. It could be just a joke made by your friend, repeated jokes in the peer group. You're known for being dumb, you're known for being silent. Okay, take it positively. Why do they tell that? Maybe I do not express the way others do not. It's a learning. So get yourself involved there. Try and see, to start talking. Whether they are still continue calling that, or they say, there's a huge change in you. How come you've changed? You were used to be dumb. You used to be dumb. You talk a lot now. Which class have you been there? They don't know they taught you that. Try and grab learning from each and every experience out there. So there's no classroom. I wouldn't suggest you go to this trainer, go to this classroom, go to this content. The life you're leading itself is an experience. That's why we always find these old people very experienced. Do not take them for granted when they say something, because they've lived your life already. They've gone through the stages, and value them a lot. Travel, right? So these are the lively, you all enjoy that. I don't have to tell you, everybody out there, you all enjoy traveling, right? Because being a traveler always, you're not in a comfortable zone. Don't know what food to eat, when will you eat, what time to sleep. Everything is in an uncertainty. And when you're able to face your life in an uncertainty, what happens? You try to control yourself. You try to know, okay, this will work, this food will not work for me, this time will work for me. And the people out there are not known to me. Let me be very, very open to them and be empathetic towards them. They'll be empathetic towards to me. So all the components again mix and match in every setting. So that's how it is. So there is no hard and fast rule, and it just lead your life. It just comes to you automatically. I wouldn't suggest any sort of training or something like that. In every situation, be a learner.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it's very important, as you mentioned, to take every situation, positive or negative, in the correct manner. Often we tend to perceive a bad experience as something that it really negatively impacted us, but often it is the bad experiences that teach the most to you. Like you had mentioned, someone is name calling you, or that really help you. So I believe that we are in a generation where bullying is conceived to be a very, very negative phenomenon, but often it is the bully that brings out the best in you. He motivates you to be yourself more and to work against these negative forces. So as you mentioned, taking that criticism in the correct manner is quite important for you to grow as an individual and again become self-aware.
Very much.
Ma'am, to the corporate aspirants, often a lot of the people perceive the corporate world as a very happy world where all you do is work, have a very supportive workforce, and have good interpersonal relationships. But what are certain things that you would like to warn them about or advise them that it is not always all happy and rosy? There will be ups and downs, and how do they deal with those ups and downs and not let that affect their emotional health?
If I have to tell you the truth, it's changing, yet a group always has its dynamics. Be it corporate, be it a family group, be it a friends group. You always have stars, you always have those who are just silent, you always have those who want to poke their nose into everything out there. So, my dear students, young youth, one suggestion: the world is not as you expect. Corporate world also is not, be it any other aspect of life also. Everything out there is a bit of cruel. There is always some bad and good. Although you might expect only good, there is always bad in that good. It's how you identify the bad as soon as possible. Okay, it's in identification skills, the problem solving skills, analytical skill, what you have identified, be alert, respond to it in the right way. And you being so much so pampered, given so much so comfortable parenting, I mean, the parent out there, they have really not let you to go into much of out of your comfort zone. Suddenly this shift brings a lot of emotional kind of damages, I could say. And I mean it, because your university days, your childhood days are totally different from the corporate world. You go there, everybody out there is loaded with responsibility. Don't expect them to be nice to you. Although they might get EQ trainings, but their work is their work. There is a thin line between arrogance and attitude. Being managers, they have to be that in that attitude. And don't expect that he's my uncle out there, he's my aunt, she's my aunt out there. She or she's doing their job, and you are with certain responsibilities. You might run out of time. You might want to learn. Now there comes your EQ playing a high role. You're smart enough, you can do the things, but don't be humble enough. There is a hierarchy there, and there are group rules. Abide by it. Slowly be that extraordinary person. See, I'll tell you, extreme heat and pressure transforms a piece of charcoal into a diamond. So have that in your mind. It's worth going that pain. It's worth going that pain and some sort of sacrifices to build and learn and learn. And then you come up boom with such a solution, the solution that everybody says, how come you learned it? Yes, keep that pace. So that's how corporate world is not really as lovely and nice. It's not as cruel also as people talk. Not everywhere, not all the team. So it's a balance between the both. Even if it's a good team, you'll have bad days. Even if it's a bad team, you'll have good days as well. Everywhere you will make memories. So it's upon you. See the lens what you're wearing. Keep saying the world outside is bad, bad, everybody's bad, cheaters. Definitely you're going to receive cheaters more into your life. The world outside is good, good. It's very good. It's very good. Only you're going to be good then. People, there are bad people also. It's like world outside is balanced. I need to recognize people. If you tell this to yourself, if you affirm yourself every day morning, I'm at my best today to identify between the right and wrong. You're done for that. Be it corporate world, be in the you're on the you're the boss, you're the entrepreneur. You have people to lead. You're all set to rock if you know the ability, if you are have the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. Draw the line.
As you stated, it might be a curse for our generation. It might be a boon that we are so protected. We are within our bubble that we tend to be conformed within our safe space or within our own comfort zone. That suddenly, once we graduate, we get that push into the in the corporate world. So it might seem a little bit. Too much to take in, but as you mentioned, it all depends upon your sphere or how you perceive the world. Like your thoughts become things. So if you keep on reaffirming to yourself, have positive affirmations, and you need to figure out how to filter out the negatives from the positives, take the negatives in the correct manner. It could be quite beneficial to us. And again, there are a lot of emotional trainings, as you had mentioned, so that will again help you to deal with the corporate stress in an appropriate manner. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to ask one last question. What excites you the most about the future of emotional intelligence training?
Well, there are a whole lot of things which excites me. I want to be the world's top EQ coach, which I think I am now. I don't deny that. I want to raise more EQ coaches. Okay, all these communication skills, I don't think we have to teach that now. Everybody out there knows to speak. But how much to speak, where to speak, when to speak, in what tone to speak, how to inspire others. I want to raise more inspirational leaders. I want to really raise many more people with high EQ. IQ, we don't have to train anybody. Unschooling, homeschooling have started. Forget about schooling. So people, even without going to schools, people are smart enough. So what is one lacking thing? Exciting thing is world is going to have EQ coaching is going to come like anything out there. Everybody will need it. So we being in the field now for 17 years for me, I've acquired so much. So another past of it, and I'm still. It's my passion has converted into profession, so I'm into it in the present as well as now. What more to tell you? When it comes to future, I'm already the pioneer in it. So I'm so much so excited to tell about this to people. All those psychology students out there, psychoeducation is a wonderful field. Of course, you might want to one counseling. That is also your forte. Apart from that, group counseling, group guidance is a thing which is going to mental health is going to take a big, in industrially, I mean, it's that industry which raising like anything. Everyone else needs it there. So executive level, you do it in corporate and EQ coaching. So exciting things are that in a month, if the corporates are at least preferring one or two times, maybe that will come to a week's time. Every weekend is going to be EQ training. This is what I see as an excitement, and I'm ready to train anybody out there. I'll raise your EQ within 5 days. Be with me. Just be yourself. I'll make you comfortable. I'll make you know yourself. And I'll definitely tell you, I'll raise your EQ. We'll take a pre EQ, pre training assessment and post training, and you'll see the graph just going like that. And again, a sustainable EQ, not for the self motivation or the short term motivation. I believe in long term planning, long term vision, long term EQ sustenance. So that can be done. I'm here.
Thank you, ma'am. This has been an incredibly enriching conversation. Your insights on emotional intelligence, corporate well being, professional growth have given us a lot to reflect upon. Your journey is truly inspiring, and I'm sure our audience has taken valuable takeaways from this discussion. At Pinnacle Pathways, we're committed to fostering a community of future corporate leaders, and conversations like these are instrumental in shaping the perspectives of all our young audience. And to our listeners, if you have enjoyed today's session and want to stay updated on future insightful discussions, please follow us on our social media platforms.
Before you end up, I would like to cut off your communication a little bit that I'm inspired how you both are into creating something really unique and practical. I must say these two young boys are going to be the role models for others because they are creating such platforms for their own generation where they learn at their comfortable zone, right from their digital gadgets, and they bring people. And you have actually pinned down your questions, not like any other podcast that they will ask your journey, that this personal things which I think values no more now. Everybody out there has a struggle and no point explaining that. The questions which you framed was so apt that made my answer flow like this. I think for this, you people have done a lot of hard work, that you want to take them a best learning outcome out of your podcast. When they listen to your podcast, they must get something out there. So bringing different industry leaders and talking about their challenges, framing these questions, editing it and putting it to a different nice package to them, you are really making a revolution in the field of this. From your perspective, what your children, what your aged people want to know, only you know. And this initiative itself is worth a salute. Please keep it on. And I wish many more leaders do come and take the seats here and do join hands with them to get the message out there loud, because young youth, they have that power to change everything. Kudos to both of you. And I recommend everybody to come to Pinnacle Pathway to enjoy the feel the vibe of this room, the way I'm speaking to him. I don't think I've spoken this freely and this, with that passion to talk to you. I never felt that's a gadget out there. I felt you're directly putting me to the youth out there. I really was not conscious that there's a camera in front of me. I felt that there is a youth watching me and I really need to give them good advice. That's the power of Pinnacle Pathways. I advise all of you, all the leaders out there, to come and take one, try here, sit and experience for yourself, as well as the youth out there. You need to learn from these as well. Come brainstorm with them what you could do also.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That means so much to us. We had talked about it earlier. It's often the positive affirmation that you receive from great, inspiring leaders that you will motivate us to even do better. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, for your guidance, and
My
for all.
pleasure, always.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.